This is Kenneth Garrick, and I believe it's non-negotiable to protect your family, your loved ones, and the things you work so hard for. Welcome back to Diaries of a New Business Owner. I was a government employee, W-2, had a set salary, I had a set benefits that were good, and I was on a great team, great company, on a great mission. To a 1099 business owner, I now work for myself. I now get rewarded on the degree of energy and effort and excellence that I put forth in serving other people. And it's awesome. So if I was writing in my journal or diary, I would write the word practice. Practice. So I learned when I was transitioned from a nonprofit into the government role, the first government role that I had, I was actually overseeing and helping with housing programs for people who were disabled and homeless. So where those, disability and homelessness overlapped, my job was to help those individuals or people helping those individuals navigate the housing system. Okay, don't let your eyes glaze over. That kind of proves to my point. I learned early on when I got that job, for me, it was a big leap in pay from where I was at, the mission, the pressure, the learning, like it was a growth opportunity. There was a lot of freedom I was given by my supervisor. I was getting to interact with lots of people that were in influential positions, all the way down to literally being kneecap to kneecap with individuals who are in that moment in their life in a bad situation and needed guidance, direction, and assistance to get, move forward. And I would explain to people. I had some people that would say, what do you do? And I would start telling them, and I realized, oh, this is going to come off really hard. I realized most people really didn't care. I know it sounds really mean and harsh. Most people, I'd say, well, what do you do? No, as soon as I got into my second breath, I could tell people checked out. And so it kind of bothered me, and because I was like, man, I thought people would be kind of more invested. And what I'd learned is that, you know what? Instead of getting upset to why someone's not interested in what I'm doing or the career that I'm in, what I'm doing to help other people, I just realized, most people are focused on where they're at and what they need from you. Now, I'm okay, put the comments in if you disagree. If I'm not trying to be negative, this is some things that I ran into and still do today. And so what I did early on in that first role, I began to go, you know what? The next time people ask me, what do I do? I'm just going to get really good at saying it to where it makes sense in one breath. And I fumbled through it for a long time. And I was in that role for quite a few years. And I got to the point where I boiled it down to people that were outside the industry. I would say my job is to help people obtain and maintain safe housing. And most people, that's all they wanted to hear. Nobody dug any deeper. There might have been one person want the second sentence, but I never got anybody to actually really be perked into what I did. They didn't really care. And that's fine. But I boiled it down. Now, the people inside the industry, when people say, what do you do as this role? I say, I simplify all things housing. That was my job. And it took me a little while to get that down to that. And I was able to go deeper into that with people in the industry. But I got that through practicing. I realized most people were not interested. And rather than getting mad at everybody, I realized that maybe I should be more interested in other people. That's the way I see things. When people aren't as interested in me or what I got going on, I ask myself, well, how interested am I in what they've got going on? And let's start there before I start pointing fingers, right? And I did the same thing when I changed roles from housing. I went into another role that was more community focused and more pulling people together and getting people to align and solve complex problems. And I got that boiled down to that. Most people didn't care to go beyond that. Okay. Now in this new role as a business owner, I will say people are interested. People, because of the move from where I was at to what I'm doing now, it may not be extreme to you, it's extreme to our family, but people aren't really interested so much in what I do. I still have run into that. They don't really care. Like I do insurance, but it's not just insurance. Like I'm helping, like I lead off these with, I believe it's non-negotiable. You're protecting your family, your loved ones, the things you've worked so hard for. One death or one disability, you can compromise all of it and throw everyone back into poverty or back 10 steps. You worked your tail off to get where you're at. You don't know the date of your death, and no one asked for injury or disability to come. And when it comes, why wouldn't you be prepared? Why would not you protect the journey that you're on while you're pursuing your goals and dreams? It's beyond me. It's non-negotiable. But most people don't really care. about what I do. What people are interested in, which is interesting, is how much money am I making? This is really good. I love this because people are looking for opportunity. This is what I'm concluding in this. I'm writing, like, this is what I process, what I'm writing down. Like, why are people interested in my money? Before, they weren't interested. Nobody asked me when you worked together, like, how much are they paying you? Nobody asked me that. Except for someone internal who maybe was looking to go do what I was doing or something similar. Nobody asked. Nobody cared. Nobody cared. Even the job before that nonprofit, no one asked how much I made per hour. Nobody asked. Nobody cared. But when I made this leap, people are wanting to know, so how much business are you doing? How much money are you bringing home? I'm like, it's interesting. One, I'm not really a big fan of talking about that, but I get the need for that because people want to know, is it possible? This is what I'm concluding. You let me know if I'm wrong. I believe people are asking that because they are curious about making that transition. They're curious about doing something, and they're afraid that they won't be able to replicate or increase what they're already doing. Therefore, they see someone in their proximity or they've got access to through social media, whatever, and they're going, well, I wonder if he's doing it. Because if I can do it, they can do it, right? That's where I'm concluding. And so I put these out because my hope in this whole Diaries of a New Business Owner concept is that I believe you can do that, but I will share my journey so that you can grab some nuggets to get you enough knowledge, enough experience through me to make that pursuit, because I think you need to do it because life is going by too fast. It's too precious. Sit back and play casual with your potential. You need to go do that. But this idea of how much you make, I haven't figured out what the right balance is on what to share, on how much I'm making and the frequency of that making and what others around me are making and how they're doing it. There's a time for that conversation. I'll go into that as needed. You're not going to hear me, at least in this moment, I'm not decided. I'm not going to put that on the social media. I think there's a bigger focus on that than so much what am I making, because I believe you can replicate your income and you can go beyond that. But I found that interesting. So now I'm learning to say, how do I practice? Let me go back to where I said practice, is that I made a decision that though people didn't care, still don't care really what I do. I'm going to use every opportunity to practice, because eventually I will be before a group of people or work around somebody who is going to care, and I need to be able to explain it clearly. And by practicing that with all these people who don't care if I get it right or wrong, they're not going to think twice about it afterwards. They might go, that makes no sense to me, and it's going to be gone from their mind. Why wouldn't I use that to practice, to get better, to refine, so that when I am before somebody, it makes sense? And therefore, they can make a quicker decision. Is this for me in the industry, or is this for me in terms of making a transition to a leap from, if you're going from a salaried to a non-salaried position? So I'm learning to practice, and now I'm learning to practice, how do I articulate, quote, success? I mean, I can unpack this whole idea of what we think success is and should be. But we won't go into that. Maybe another video, because it comes down to definition. So it's good. So now I'm learning to practice. I'm learning now. I'm in a new industry. I'm getting clearer on saying, here's what I do, why I do it, how I'm doing it, and why you should be doing it with me. And I'm getting better. I'm getting better at articulating that, because it'll catch the right people who actually need what I do. And the vast majority of people, though, aren't not going to be interested, and that's okay. As I restated, it comes off negative, but I'm not trying to be mean, cold, or indifferent. I just believe that's just a reality. People are consumed in what they're doing. But I'm going to practice, and I'm going to practice on the whole, how do you project what you make, because people are interested, which is fascinating. No one cared before, but now they do. I think the key answer is there's food on the table, the bills are being paid. Okay, I mean, I think that's a good start for, full-time starting in February till, middle of April. So what was that, 2 months? February, March, yeah, it's 2 months. So the bills are being paid. I think that's good to know. But people are interested, so I'm going to learn to practice. I'm going to learn to refine that, to be able to share what's needed when needed, because some people don't need to know everything, and some people need to know a little bit more because they actually genuinely are interested. So that's where this part of the video is going to get a little muddy, because I'm still sorting that. But I'm taking that same concept and approach I did for my other career, and how I learned that I've just got to learn to articulate, and I'll do what I did before until you're going to hear me, and I'll be so clear on what I'm saying. It'll be what you need to know, what you really need to hear. And those who want to go the next level deep, or 3 levels or 4 levels or 7 levels deep into this, I'll be more than ready. So I'm going to practice. This is what I write in my diary journal. I'm practice. Take that same concept and practice. All right. This is Kenneth Gehrig. I believe it's non negotiable to protect your family, your loved ones, and the things you work so hard for. Y'all be blessed.